What is this?
Correct Zoom. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Good.
Hello,
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So yes, I am Ola Wumi, the program director of Hibernian Hall, and also playing tech this evening. Welcome to our lovely gathering to meet the playwright this evening. Hope you are well, staying healthy, which you all looking very bright and beautiful on the screens here. My first virtual reception for this year of 2021. Also want to bring and shout out the Friends of Hibernian Hall that are also joining us this evening. And Mary is one of our Friends of Hibernian Hall, so thank you. I want to point out the advisory members, how they also set off our artist talk for this month, celebrating our 55th anniversary for MPDC. And before we begin, I want to start with a little icebreaker and basically ask a question of what is your favorite Hibernian Hall memory? You can put it in the chat, or you can basically shout it out, and I'll try my best to spotlight you.
So Ola, I don't know if this is my favorite, but it's certainly one of my favorites, which is Cafe Tatante. We would set up tables like a nightclub in the ballroom, and George would come out and we would be waited on, and we'd have local jazz music. And this went on, I guess, for a short while, but it was every Thursday for a while. Then it was every other Thursday. I don't know if anyone else remembers Cafe Tatante.
No.
No.
I'll say one of my favorites was when it was Sparks for Art, and they opened a time capsule that was buried in the Hibernian Hall somewhere. Dylan Buston was there at that time. I don't know if anybody remembers that one.
It was filled, the time capsule is filled with all these documents that were placed inside the cornerstone when the building was built in 1913. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I think there was an article on one of the first airplanes ever built. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was neat.
Yeah. That was a nice time.
Yeah, it was fun, and we had the papers were archived by Dylan's wife, actually, Martha.
Oh,
and then we put in a new cornerstone after that.
Cool. Yeah.
I've lately been thinking of Kay Boren, who recently passed away, and I remember an event honoring Kay.
Yes, I remember Kay. She was a big supporter of Hibernian Hall. We miss her.
Well, I remember when seeing the building when it was just being unboarded and convincing Jean and the team to not turn it into housing, but to keep the grand two-story ballroom, and being in there before we had other groups in there. But one of the big memories, one of the earliest things that happened there was an Irish OIC reunion. The Irish musicians had a wake in front of Hibernian Hall when they had heard that it was going to be torn down. It had been boarded up for years, and then there were other people who remembered it when it was the Opportunities Industrialization Center. And so the Mass Memories Roadshow at UMass had people come and bring photos. So there were Irish people bringing photos of the dances that they remembered, and there were Black people bringing photos from training at OIC, and it was just really great to bring the two communities. And the woman who was the Irish consul at the time came, and so it was one of the early events that sort of spoke to all the realms of history. But we did a whole lot of things. I was there the first, I guess, 4 or 5 years that the hall was open. So lots of memories.
So Candelaria, you're saying this happened in response to the threat that the building was being torn down?
Yeah, before Madison Park bought the building, which it bought for like $200,000, which you can't even believe like that we could get it. The building was supposed to be torn down, and it was still standing. So the Irish people, before Madison Park got involved with the building at all, had actually held a wake and had bought fiddlers and stuff we used to play in the hall. And they had a wake in front of the hall in the street where they played their fiddles. So we reached out to them. The Irish consulate reached out to us once they heard that the building was getting refurbished. And so it was sort of a reunion. So different people have different memories of what the building was. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
All right. As we get ready to introduce our lovely CEO of Madison Park Development Corporation, anybody else want to do a few shares?
Yes, I will.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
You're muted.
My name is Marcia. I'm a theater lover, and I was privileged back in 2008 to make my debut there at Hibernian Hall in the play Two Can Play. That was produced by the Black Rep Theater in Rhode Island. And everything that moves in Hibernian Hall and I can attend, I am there. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you.
Thank you. There you have it. That's actually like a lovely close of the game. So thank you very much. And thank you all for sharing. And further ado, I will love to introduce our CEO of Madison Park, Ms. Leslie Reed.
Thank you so much, Ola, and welcome everybody this evening. You know, in these crazy times, it's so nice to see all of your faces here. I am especially proud and honored and humbled to be with you celebrating the 55th anniversary of the founding of Madison Park. What a kind of huge benchmark for the organization. And I'd ask you to take a moment and say their names with me. Vinnie Haynes, Ralph Smith, Beryl Roach, among so many others. In this 55th year, we take a moment to celebrate our founders and celebrate the legacy that contributes to the founding of this organization, to honor our beloved Roxbury community, and also to embrace the promise of our upcoming future. And so here tonight, we get to do a little bit of all of that. It sounds like we were talking a little bit about how we got here today. Kind of, we would be in Hibernian Hall. We're still friends of Hibernian Hall, but it sounds like Candelaria was here and sharing some of the history of how Hibernian Hall came into being. And it's exciting to celebrate that legacy. The other part of the legacy that we're celebrating tonight, and I'm so glad that Candelaria can be with us, is the tradition of celebrating arts in our community. And, you know, we're really, really thrilled and pleased to welcome Mary to a playwright in residence with us in this special time. So again, recalling, you know, the legacy, celebrating the legacy that led to Hibernian Hall, honoring our precious community and embracing the promise of our future. I hope that you saw we had a month-long celebration of arts and culture with Hibernian Hall, where Ola and her excellent team put together just a veritable smorgasbord of virtual arts activities. I hope everybody had a chance to partake. And if you didn't, I'm sure Ola can give instructions for how to access recordings of some of those special events. And I hope that you'll continue to join us as we celebrate other parts of Madison Park's important work during this very important year. So once again, welcome. I couldn't be more thrilled to see you. Friends of Hibernian Hall are special friends to Madison Park and the Roxbury community, and I can't express my appreciation for all you do to support this important work and this wonderful community. So welcome and enjoy the evening. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you so much for basically setting off this evening. And no further ado, we would just love to quickly introduce Mary McCullough, our new playwright in residence. She'll say a little hello and then we'll savor the rest for later.
Hello, it's great to see everyone and thank you for being here. And you'll hear more from me at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. And so as we wait, we'll just show the last piece of the music entertainment for this evening. And as we get ready, Kay will come on and introduce and we'll get right with the talk. So thank you and enjoy the evening.
Hey there, happy Friday to you. Our temperatures are going to take a tumble the next couple of days, just in time for the weekend. Good news is we slowly see some sunshine and brighter days ahead, at least for the first half of the weekend. 50 is for our highs for the greater Boston area, as well as for Sunday, Monday, around 50 degrees. Tuesday, Wednesday, a little bit of a warming trend going into midweek next week.
I'm sorry, everyone. Were you able to hear the performance?
No,
Oh,
No,
No, there's no audio.
Do you hear it now?
No.
no.
As well. High pressure is in control briefly for Saturday as we check out the big weather map.
I'm just hearing a news report in the background.
That's not me.
Yeah, someone's got a TV or something on.
Well, as you see, the Vesuvius sounds very nice on my end. Don't know what's going on.
Oh,
Apologies, everyone.
oh, oh, I hear it very low.
If you stay me, you better learn to find very soon. Sorry, you can't save me now. Sorry, I don't know how. Sorry, there's no way out. Down, down. Sweet, the salty tears on my cheek. That's why you take just to you. I'm not okay. I feel so scattered, so sick. I'm all that matters with me. Deja vu. If you need wanna see me, you better learn.
God.
'Cause I'm innocent. Sorry, can't save me now. Sorry, I don't know how. Sorry, there's no way out. But down, down. Friends and tell them that I love them. And love them. But I'm not sorry. Want my friends and tell them that I love them. And love them.
Performer, but
Sorry.
I'm just gonna leave it for now.
Hello, everyone. As I hear the beautiful sound, thank you. That was Emmanuel Escobar and his lovely daughter. Did you guys at least hear that? Everyone just like put the hands up like this? Excellent.
Some of it.
Okay. Sorry, technology is a lovely thing. So as we move along, thank you very much for bearing with performance that you could hear. So now we're basically going to introduce our playwright of residence, Mary McCullough.
Thank you, Ola.
So, Mary, may I interrupt for a minute?
Yes, I know it is.
I would
Hi,
like.
Kay.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm good.
I just want to give a small introduction before you start talking, and to say hello to everybody. Good evening, and it's so good to see everyone tonight. I know it's been a long time since the Friends of Hibernian Hall got together, and tonight is a good night for that. We've just finished a month of activities, as Leslie talked about, highlighting Hibernian Hall programs and Roxbury artists and cultural workers on social media and via weekly Zoom artist talks. And I hope you were able to view some of those activities. And now we have the long anticipated opportunity to welcome our latest playwright in residence, Mary McCullough, who just had this great article in the Boston Globe today. It was online yesterday and in the newspaper today. She's about to talk to us about her work as a writer and how she once again is working at Hibernian Hall. Mary follows in the footsteps of a great group of playwrights who over the past several years were also Hibernian Hall playwrights in residence. Trisha Elam Walker, Juanita Peters, Peter Snowd, and Jackie Parker, who I think are both with us tonight. Mary will work on a number of projects this year, culminating with a production of her beautiful play, Smoked Oysters, in the fall. She is an active member of the Hibernian Hall Advisory Committee, providing us lots of support, which we appreciate. And she has an abundance of experiences to tell us about. And so, Mary, welcome, and thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, Kay. And thank you, Ola, and Leslie, for this opportunity to work with you, to create and be your visiting playwright this coming year. I started my journey at Hibernian Hall with Candelaria Silva Collins when she was the director of ACT Roxbury. At that time, Candelaria gave me a call and she said, I am going to have these playwriting workshops if you're interested. And I was truly very, very interested because I had written plays before, but I really don't have any training, and I needed and wanted an opportunity to learn from other playwrights. And the first workshop was with Ed Bullens. We wrote and then our plays were presented in something we called the dramatic shout outs. And Ed and Candelaria selected my play, Sorry, Don't Fix It, which they went on to produce, which was a great experience. It was directed by Jackie Parker. And Jackie Parker, as many of you know, is a wonderful playwright, director, and I had the opportunity to not only work with her on that play, but did some work with her at Our Place Theater and her African American Theater Festival, which took place in Boston. A couple of my plays she featured in that. I guess the greatest, one of the greatest experience was to have a play of mine, a short play, on the same program with Ed Bullens. I mean, when I saw the program and he was the other playwright, I was thrill, and it just, shivered all over. It was an incredible experience. The next workshop was run by Kate Snodgrass. I think that's a well-known name in the Boston area, with the Boston Marathon of plays that she puts together and other stuff that she does. And the third facilitator or leader of the playwriting workshop was Lydia Diamond. Unbelievable, Lydia Diamond, the playwright. And I think that those experiences were wonderful. Our plays were read before an invited audience in Hibernian Hall. I remember being extremely nervous and, getting feedback from people, some good feedback, some like, you need to do more work on that. I wasn't too invested in what you wrote. Those kinds of things, which, a playwright expects. I think that from there, my journey as a playwright led me to participating in Company One's Play Lab unit in 2016. And there I met a lot of wonderful playwrights, two of whom recommended TC Squared's Play Lab to me. And after the experience with Company One, I joined, or I actually applied and was accepted into the Play Lab with TC Squared Theatre of Cambridge, working with Martha Kingsbury and under the guidance of Ross Thomas Clark. Great experience, lots of wonderful playwrights and a wonderful community to be a part of. That artists need to be part of a community. Writing is a solo piece that you do alone at your computer or wherever you decide that you're going to create. But to have other writers in a community who listen to your work, who give you feedback, to have access to actors, that's vital to a playwright. A playwright might write alone, but you really need a team to go forward and put your work on its feet and to have a production. Not only do you need people, you need money. So that's an issue. The play that will go up at Hibernian Hall virtually, most likely, although Don Simmons, who will direct it, we're both hoping for at least 1 or 2 live performances. I love theater. I love being in the presence of an audience that brings a lot of energy. There's a kind of exchange between an audience and the work and the actors that the audience is seeing on stage, and that's extremely important. The virtual world is new to me. This will be a new journey. This is how we will be starting out, everything online, Zoom. I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. I will depend on tech people at Hibernian Hall, like Assad Hardwick and Ola and the team there to really make it all come together and for it to work. I need to say also that part of my journey in terms of writing, I would say I started in 7th grade, where I submitted something to a contest. I don't know if people remember Westinghouse, I think, used to do contests for kids in school. And my writing lacked quite a bit of depth, I would say, because we were to write an essay about how important our father was to us. And I think I wrote a list of all the things that my father would buy me for Christmas. And I just wrote this list down the page. Of course, I didn't win, that it got submitted, but I did not win. I think part of my journey has been to try to find a place for my voice in the world. With Eleanor Dodd, who started the Street Feet Children's Workshop, actually on Mission Hill, we evolved into what we call the Street Feed Women, and we began to write and perform our own work, and we toured. We toured in New England and part of the Midwest, and internationally, we went to 2 big world conferences. So being nurtured and supported by other writers has been extremely important to me. It has kept me going. I think that this new journey, part of my journey, being at Hibernian Hall, will be very exciting. It's an honor to be in this position and for people to have faith in my work that I can do it. I am nervous and a little scared about it, but I think that may be a good thing. I think what I would like to do now, if it works, hopefully Ola has been able to do this. I have 2 clips of work developed in the TC Squared Play Lab in response to COVID and the police violence that took place in 2020. We had Martha, as our dramaturge, give us several prompts that we had to write from. So these are 2 monologues I developed, and the actors are wonderful. The first one is good. Every good boy does fine. You'll recognize that as a musical scale. And the second, with Hunter Lamar. The second one is a Nancy Knows with Maru Colbert, and it was directed by Jackie Jelensky. Okay, thank you.
There's no audio.
Okay, sorry everyone. I thought there was volume. I was sitting here enjoying.
In music, as he talks to the moon about his daytime fears and the nightmares interrupting his sleep.
Hello, Moon. You're looking pretty full tonight. I can't sleep. I can't take a walk with all of these police patrolling out looking for protesters, so it's music, the moon, and me. I woke to blue lights flashing. Those lights were still blinking and here in my head, even after I woke from the nightmare. The doctor in my dream said I was caught in this blue blindness, and I don't know what that is. Dreams are the funny things. They don't always make sense. My Nana taught me music on her old upright piano. Nana said music soothes. Nana is right most of the time. It's that old people's wisdom she got. Music erases that blue blindness nonsense. And it helps me forget about the scary virus too. I got shot in my chest in one of my dreams. I heard myself choking, the blood boiling inside my left lung. I couldn't breathe. Believe me, when that happened, I woke myself up, because lucky me, huh? Nah, I can't get down with that kind of dream. It's too true. See, in my dreams, I am always watching myself. I watch myself in real life too, but in my dreams, I have control. When what's happening is too painful, I just say, enough is enough, Melvin. This ain't real. Wake up. Enough. 2 exclamation points. I woke now to the hypocrisy, the cheap talk. Everybody talking cheap, always asking how I am, like they just discovered me. I didn't just come here in some spaceship from Mars. You brought me here and made it hard from the get-go. So how am I? How am I? Honestly, I just want to scream, I am not fucking okay. But then I hear my Nana speaking about ramifications, punishments for a Black man speaking truth to power. You gotta work to eat. You gotta stay in the game, baby. So I pick and choose what to say and when to say it. Today, when that man asked me how I was doing in the pandemic, I just said, I'm fine, just hanging out, waiting for a vaccine. It's getting harder to keep it on the upbeat. You know, the air was cleaner for a while until the fires. Those news people on TV, they showed the sun setting over the city and they said it was a beautiful sunset. I could barely see the sun through the smoke haze. Why didn't they lie to me about the sunset? I got 20/20 vision. It's getting harder to find the light. You know, we're gonna be the last people to get that vaccine. I mean, who really cares how many Black people, rich or poor, die from COVID except for other Black people? We can't even get the numbers on how many of us are still positive. But I know, and you know, we are losing our uncles, our aunties, our sisters, and brothers, and friends. But my Nana is still hanging in there. She's still clipping her own toenails, and that's a good thing. 90 years old and still going strong. She volunteered to work the polls. So yeah, Moon, I get it. This old earth, it has a rhythm, it's singing a song. You're gonna capture those notes. It's all on the line in the treble clef, that E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine. Nana taught me music to keep me safe in the house, but my legs, they needed to run. So I ran through the house, out through the front door, around the block, doing my long distance running to become a man, a Black man catching life. And now I'm back, trying to stay safe in my Nana's house. So yeah, Moon. Yeah.
All right. Back to Mary McCullough.
This is where I am too.
So Mary, are you here?
Oh, I'm here. I thought we were doing the second one. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I am here.
Ola, is there another clip?
Okay, while she's bringing that
Yeah,
up.
I had it. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just going to talk a little bit while she brings the second one up.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit more about that monologue that we just heard, including the actor who was delivering.
Okay.
I mean, wow.
Hunter Lamar's the actor. He was wonderful. He's also, I think he's also a musician. There's music actually in this piece, because he's talking about the piano, and he's like on the back porch. My vision of this monologue, he's on the back porch and he has a musical instrument with him, and he's talking to the moon. He's talking about what his dreams are, you know, troubling dreams that he's had, and how he's coping with police violence and also with COVID, and how he's using music to look for that place to be. Basically, Hunter did a great job. I mean, I was really moved by his performance. It's wonderful to hear something and then not recognize, oh, I wrote that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the second.
Oh, okay. Just real quick, was it part of your writing for him to hum the Marvin Gaye song at the end?
That was his choice.
Uh-huh. Very nice.
Okay, here's the second one.
The story.
Can't hear it.
Maybe you can write a story about him getting rid of the virus, like the story you wrote about your dog, Molly. I know, honey. Molly is in heaven. No, that's all right. You can show me your spider drawing later, Sonia. Sonia. Everyone has the attention span of a flea. Can't blame her. My mind is jumping all over the place too. It's the times we're in. I'm trying to tell her a story about a Nancy, and she's got me FaceTiming with her dollhouse. Said she wants to show me her spider drawing. Yeah. No dumb people in this house. Look at all those little plastic dolls. I guess she's trying to get me to tell her parents to buy her a puppy. Send money. Send money. Not one real letter. No one writes long letters anymore. My parents' generation wrote long letters to family and friends. You could read the writing too. Everybody had good friendship. Beautiful, bold, and tall, graciously curved letters. No mess. Now, I took my last pill yesterday. I called the pharmacy and they said they were shipped a week ago. Said I was to wait a few more days. I waited 7, then called again. That nice young man on the phone in Arizona tracked me. Said there was some kind of delay with the post office. Post office said the meds are in transit. I don't live in the wilderness. My meds come from Cambridge, Mass. I live in the next town over, in the same state. He said after 10 days from the shipping date, he would declare the meds lost and ship them again. Now, isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing again and expecting a different outcome. Meanwhile, he's trying to reach my doctor, get a prescription called into my local pharmacy for a few pills to tide me over. But it's Friday afternoon. Take it from me. don't have any kind of medical need on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday or a Sunday. Unless you are prepared to wait for the weekend shift at your local hospital. I had to call the doctor's office myself on Monday. First thing, not getting those meds has convinced me I am going to risk my life, go out of my house in this pandemic. Oh, not to the doctor's office. I'm going to stand in the voting line. I am not trusting Mr. Trump's post office to get my vote to where it will be counted. I can't. I'll be voting early, in person. I'll need my seat on wheels, some water, mask, hand sanitizer, and I probably should take a break. I hope I don't pass out waiting in line, because only a Nancy knows when I'll get my meds. Sonia, you're back. Oh, look at that. It's a Nancy, and that's space you gave it. You remember that a Nancy has a human face. Is that somebody you know? Me? Oh, the big old eyes you put in my ears.
Oh. Thank you.
Okay, well, I hope you got the gist of that. That monologue is about a woman, a grandmother, who is home alone, and she's FaceTiming with her granddaughter online, trying to read her a story, which is very, very difficult to do because her granddaughter keeps running away to get things to show her. And she's trying to read her this African folktale. And then she sort of does a riff on waiting for meds that haven't come. You can remember all the difficulty and continued difficulty around the post office and what happened during 2020, and her preparation for getting ready to vote. And I realized that that's still very timely, given what has happened in Georgia in the last couple of days, you know, making it a criminal offense to give someone water when they're waiting in line to vote. So for me, it still felt very timely. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Kay. She may have some questions for me, and I know that she's also going to take questions from people who are present. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, TC Squared. Thank you, Street Feed Women. Thank you all the other writers out there who supported me over the years.
Thank you, Mary. Those clips were just really quite moving, both of them. And I want to encourage everybody, anyone and everyone, if you have a question, to either raise your hand, take yourself off mute, put it in the chat. We'd love to have you, we'd love to have a conversation. I know Mary is very more than happy to speak with you all. I guess I'll start and ask you, if you don't mind, to tell us a little bit more about your history with Street Feet Women, how that got started, what the thinking was behind it, and where that group went in its work.
Well, the mission statement of the Street Feed Women was to be inclusive, to be able to tell women's stories, and to have the people telling the stories before an audience be from different cultural, racial backgrounds. And I think that was one of the commitments we always had. I think the difficulty we had years ago when we were starting out, we were all lovers of theater, many of us wanting to be actors, but unable to see ourselves on stage. And I think Lee Min Mo, who's a member, a Street Feed member, used to talk about what it was like for her as an Asian woman to not be able to be selected, to be chosen. She would audition. She had a theater background. She was trained, but not to get parts. So we took it upon ourselves to do our own writing and do our own performing and take our faces and our work to an audience wherever we could find it. We toured, we went to libraries, schools, hospitals, women's prison, colleges. And, you know, after a while, we built up enough reputation so people would invite us to come and present our work. But we were always very much engaged with our mission, which was to tell the stories of women. And we went on to publish our work. We have 2 anthologies. Laughing in the Kitchen was our first anthology. I think we published it in through Talking Stone Press in 1998. And we just recently published, self-published Metaphors Are Not Enough, which is an anthology available through Lulu online.
So we could find the book through Lulu, Lulu,
Yes.
online.
Yes, we could. I mean, you could. The other thing is that we went to 2 international conferences. We went to Nairobi, Kenya in 1985. We took a show that Eleanor wrote called Many Voices. We wanted to be able to be on the world stage, but to represent American women who looked like us. And then 10 years later, we did the same thing and we went to China. And at that time, we did a compilation of each member's work. And I had a 10-minute play that was in that presentation that we did at the NGO.
Were you saying that had a large audience?
Oh, I shared with you that our largest, we feel like we have an audience if we have one person, but we've gone from 10 people in an audience to, I think Eleanor might correct me, but 3,000. We did the International Christian Women's Conference at Purdue University. It was an incredible moment for us all to be mic'd, and it was like being a rock star. It was unbelievable. We had our 1 day of fame. And as I shared with you before, I don't want to do it again. It's just not my thing. I like small and intimate.
Don't we all? I'm just going to look at the chat and see if there are any questions. And also, does anyone want to just raise their hand and talk to Mary? Valerie. Hi. How are you?
Hi, Valerie.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I initially had a question about how, because I enjoyed the clips, on how I could actually see the rest of them. And in the chat, information was put in on how we can actually view your work. So instead of the question, I just want to make a comment. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing work and for the time and effort that you put into doing the plays and stuff. And I know that it takes a lot of work to write the plays and then be courageous enough to share them with people in the world. And so I just wanted to thank you for doing that and to say that I look forward to watching the rest of your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Valerie.
Nice to see you, Valerie. Anyone else? Oh, there's some hands. Jerry Robinson, do you want to unmute yourself? Jerry, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I just wanted to say hi. Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you. It's amazing to have an opportunity to have something like this in our own community. I am a lifelong Bostonian, and love the arts, but love hearing the kinds of work that you particular are doing, and the voices of women and the voices of young people, period, or all. And just wanted to say thank you more than anything. And thank you, Kay, also for this whole evening and the event, and particularly a moment to come together in community when we couldn't really physically be in community together. And so I just think everything that you've done for us this evening.
You're welcome. It's really nice to see you, Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Kim Vermeer?
Thanks. Hi, Mary. So nice.
Hi.
Hi, Kim. So nice to hear the plays. So my question to you is, just from those little monologue clips, you have important things to say. And so I just wonder why you've decided plays is the way for you to share that instead of, for example, writing essays. So why is it through plays that you've decided that's the way for you to make your voice heard?
I'm not really very good at essays, by the way. I started out writing short stories, and I've done some poetry, some of which has been published. But I was a theater major. I have an undergraduate degree in theater arts and a master's in writing from Northeastern. But I love the theater. I love being able to be part of something that is happening in the moment. I love different characters, the voices. I hear voices. I've shared this with people before. My characters talk to me. Like, I hope you get to see Smoked Oysters, but that play started by having two people talking to me. They were bickering at each other, and I said, what on earth are you saying? What is it that you want me to do? What is it that you want me to write down? So I listened to the voices in my head, and there are many of them, and I start from there. I like theater. I like something being live in front of an audience. It's the kind of energy you can't get anywhere else. So playwriting is where I'm coming from right now.
Thank you, Mary. And Kate Snodgrass?
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate. Oh, wow. How wonderful. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, me too. I wanted you to talk a little bit. You may have answered this already, because I was just about to write in the chat that August Wilson did the same thing. He listened, he heard something, and he said, "Who is that?" And they would tell him who they were. And then he would ask them, well, where do you work? Oh, near the train tracks. I mean, they would talk to him. And I'm wondering how you begin each play. Is it different every time? Or, I mean, do you hear things? Or do you see something on stage? Do you focus on a theme, or talk about that? What's the first thing?
I think it's different every time, but basically, I think I hear the voices, they talk to me, and then I ask them questions. Like with Smoked Oysters, the husband and wife, they were bickering, they were fussing at each other, and he wouldn't go outside the house. So I started asking, why? What is this? Why don't you leave? Why don't you go somewhere with your wife? So that's one process. Sometimes I might decide, as I did with Dust, which is the last, my newest play, which will be in revision stage really, really soon. I was angry. I had gotten extremely frustrated, angry with the administration, our government, and I could not figure out, how can I make a difference? What could I do? So I was very upset about the bigotry, the hatred, the racism, and I still don't understand it, but I decided that I would create a character. And this is the first time I've done this, because I usually write about Black people, but I wrote about a white family, a matriarch who is a bigot. And I went through a journey with her, trying to understand, why are you like that? What makes you say and do the things that you do? So I wrote a play, and what I discovered is that I cannot write a one-dimensional character. I am never able to do that, even if I'm dealing with race from a white perspective. So I had to, at times,
Thank God,
really,
Mary. Thank God.
okay, I had to, at times, to just really look at this particular individual and see her as a human being. Does that help? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
that's
great.
wonderful. It helps
Great.
enormously, and I'm so thankful that you can't write that one-dimensional, because we don't need it in the theater. We need the full story. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you for many years ago at Roxbury.
So thank you, Mary. Parmi has something to say, and then Rosalind, and then Leslie.
Hi, Mary. It's good to see
Hi.
you again.
Oh, good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. I see your name and I'm there.
Okay.
Many of the questions I had thought to ask have been answered, but I loved smoked oysters so much. When will we get to see that again, even if it's virtually?
I think it's scheduled for the fall.
This fall.
And I think I said before, it will be directed by Don Simmons of
Yes.
Front Porch celebrity person. So
right.
I'm excited.
I know Don. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great to see that. I'm looking forward to it. And I love the new pieces. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great actor. There.
My goodness.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Parmi.
Thank you. You too, Kay. Thank you.
And Rosalind?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I did put in the chat, which some of you have seen, the fact that if you go onto YouTube, TC Squared, you can see the pieces that were difficult to hear today from the monologues. And I've given the details, and also there's a 10-minute scene from Dust also in there, and Dust is an amazing play, and the actual staged reading of it we didn't record because it was still in draft stage. We don't record things in draft stage. So I just wanted to say that. And the other thing was that having Mary in Play Lab, working with Marty Kingsbury, the two of them are just dynamite. And to be able to have Mary work on a play like Dust for 5 years, which is what it's been, you know, we know how long it takes to write a really good play, and Mary is still not done with this play, and it just gets better and better and better the more drafts she brings to us. And it's just wonderful to watch the way that she works and to see her work develop. We're very privileged to have her as part of our Play Lab. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, and Roz, you should plug the festival coming up April 10th.
Oh yes, April the 10th. Yes, check on our website tcsquared.org, tcsquaredtheatrecompany.org, because we have a festival of new plays, 10-minute plays, coming up on April the 10th, and you will see Mary's stuff in that too. So it would be lovely to have you there. I'm not sure that all of the people on this Zoom call are actually on our Eventbrite list of contacts. So if you want to get our information, and you could just put your email into the chat, I will make sure that you get sent the Eventbrite directly. That would be really helpful, because some of you I do have and some of you I don't. Okay, thank you. That was all.
Thank you, Roz. Great. Thank you.
And then Leslie, you had your hand up.
I did.
Hi,
Thank you.
Hi, Leslie. Leslie, thank you.
Hello. No, thank you. I was hoping you might talk a little bit about going to the promised land. I think it might be a piece that you'll be working on during the residence. And I was hoping you might talk a little bit about that as well.
Yes, thank you so much. I know being a playwright in residence, there's an expectation of doing new work, but I've been encouraged to bring this play back. It has a life of its own, but Candelaria actually is one who suggested that it be done again. It's a play about the Great Migration, told from the perspective of a family and a young girl who is dreaming of, when she's old enough, to go to Harlem, where she can be with all the writers, Zora Neale Hurston, people like that she's only heard about because she steals her father's newspaper, which is smuggled to him by the Pullman porters. That whole aspect of our history where, we weren't to be literate. We weren't to be taught to read and to write. That was like a no-no, it was a crime. And a young boy who is on the next farm from them, they're in the South, who dreams of being a baseball player and joining the Negro League. So it's a story of them dreaming within the context of the KKK and lynching, and then moving on and growing up and having their dreams realized. Has music, dance, all sorts of, it's a big cast. It's a big to do, and I want to revise and revitalize it for this time period, because I think we need more plays with hope for us as a Black community, and maybe for the world too.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, great. Thank you, Leslie.
Are there any other hands up? I know Jerry, did you want to say something else? Jerry Robinson? So before we wrap up, Mary, I wanted to ask you a couple of other things.
Hey, Parmi's had her hand up for a little bit. I just wanted to see if she wanted to say something. Oh, it's down. Okay. Sorry. Oh, but Diane.
Oh, Diane, you have your hands up.
Thank
Diane.
you. Hi, Mary.
Hi, my friend. Hello, my friend.
How are you? So good to see you. I'm so proud of you, my love. So proud of you.
Thank you. Another playwright, director, actor.
Thank you, Mary. I just wanted to say that I'm really excited for Smoked Oysters because I've been cast in one of the roles for Smoked Oysters, and I'm really excited about that. And I think that Hibernian Hall is such a wonderful little mecca in the middle of our community, and that it does have this flourishing, important theater presence. Is just so, it makes us all proud to know that like great art is being created like right in that spot around the corner from Nubian Station. It's just really inspiring, no? And just I've worked with Mary on a couple of projects, including directing a reading of her play Ballyhoo in the Hair Kitchen, and I'm just like real excited to continue with you and to continue with Hibernian Hall. I had a wonderful time producing Colored Girls there, and I can't say enough about the staff and everybody there. And really excited to see the new play, Mary, and just keep it going. Just keep it going.
Thank Thank you for recommending me to Ola and Kay. I think you started this whole process, so thank you.
Yeah, they said, do you know somebody? And I could only think of one person. So yeah.
Thank you.
All the best.
So any other hands up? You know, Mary, I just want to thank you again for this evening. It's just been so inspiring. And this is a great way to kind of end the month of Hibernian Hall here at Madison Park, but also to begin your residency. And it's so wonderful to see everybody here tonight. And Friends of Hibernian Hall, I want to ask you to be sure to renew your membership, because your support really helps keep our virtual doors open, and it's support for arts and culture in Nubian Square. If you are not a member and you have never been a member, I invite you also to join Friends of Hibernian Hall. And you can find information on the website at madison-park.org. Mary, any more words of wonderful inspiration?
No, I don't have any more words of inspiration. Thank you all for coming and, you know, hearing my story. And I look forward to seeing you again at a performance of Smoked Oysters. So thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night,
I hope
Mary.
everyone enjoyed
Thank
their
you.
snacks. Good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Nice to see faces without masks.
Yeah.
I know. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Good
Hi,
night,
Diane.
everybody. It's good to
Hi.
see
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Well,
Have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye. Thank you
Bye.
again.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Night.
See you, Diane.
Thank
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Ola. Bye, Ola.
Take care. Good job, Ola and
you.
Kay.
Good job, Ola.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Lexus.